good timekeeper.
He is. He's uptown now.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's modernized.
Call the meeting to order. Have a prayer. Heavenly Father, we don't thank you for another wonderful day. Lord, bless the spiritual preaching that we'll do tonight. Conduct the business of our family. So it people and encourage everything to do for them family. Lord, bless our mayor as he is here. Another commission this time, we sit also, help her out. Bless our troops for our overseas fighting for our rights, front, left, by, our freedom that we have. Help the people that assist and need you. In that name we pray, amen.
Amen.
All right, this time, does everybody want to stand up and comment on anything on the agenda that needs to fill out the form? We got roll call, we got, the mayor, the superintendent out, that looks like. All right, next item, approval of minutes for December 19th.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? All right. Okay, need to elect the chair and the vice chair.
I nominate the mayor since he's not here, and I nominate Tony since he is here and doing a good job.
And we'll second that. Yes. It's less of a 401k.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's go to new business. First is solid waste and Zion.
The 2024 holiday closures are in this issue of Shelbyville's Good News. Please cut it out and save for future reference. It does show all of the holidays for this next year that the centers will be closed. We also have the small stick-on calendars available at all the centers. Our annual progress report, the APR letters have gone out to all the industrial and commercial businesses. And we had a APR training session on the 17th, which went really well. We're already starting to get some of our information back from some of the businesses. The centers have been extremely busy with trash from the holidays. So hopefully there will be a slowdown. Our drivers and attendants have done an excellent job in keeping the centers cleaned out and running. And of course, now with the snow that we've had to deal with, that was another issue. 2 of our center attendants have been out for health reasons, and they are back to regular schedule. So we're happy to see them back. Centers were closed on the 15th for Martin Luther King Day. And then we had the weather conditions that hit us really hard. And because of the weather conditions, the centers were closed. That was due basically to safety for our residents and for our employees. And the compactors will not run when the temperatures get down that low. So in order to keep them from freezing, having busting lines and all of that, then we chose to close them a couple of days. We did try and open on Friday and part of Saturday, but Saturday was still cold another day, and the compactors just weren't running. So we apologize for any inconvenience, but we certainly have no control over the weather. The quarterly reports and the yearly report is attached. Revenues for the quarter were $52,410. That was due to there was an extra scrap metal. Actually, I think there were 3 scrap metals in that. So that covered that. Our savings from recycling versus landfill saved us $81.86.87. And then I have a breakdown of 2023 calendar year. We took in 162.43 tons of cardboard, 7.35 tons of news. Metal was 614.88. Oil was 33.14. Tires were 167.66. Aluminum was 2 tons. Battery was 1.96. Paint was 2.75. That was a total of revenues for $191,925.01. So it's a pretty good amount coming in off of our recycling stuff. I know we still do not have any markets for plastic or for glass, but right now we just can't find anything at all. And it would cost us more to transport than what we're getting back anyway. So DSC has sold, and we haven't spoken with those people yet about taking our newspaper. So right now it's still going to Grief, which is in Laverne. And that's where our cardboard goes right now too. So anyway, any kind of future developments on that, we will let you know. Does anybody have any questions about any of the reports? Okay, thank you.
Okay, next is Human Resources.
Good afternoon, everyone. You all have your report in front of you that was submitted for December data. And as you can see, we continue to see a trend that we want to see in human resource, and that is retaining talent. There was one person that left our organization, and that was it was a longtime employee, and they retired from, and that was in the Register of Deeds office. So we wish her well and thanked her for her services. So that was in Johnny Reed's office, and he held a nice event for her. And then we brought in a couple of new folks. We continue to accept applications for our EMS department, continue to onboard for our corrections, and we have a health department opportunity nutrition educator. We did recently fill a deputy position that is regular deputy, not SRO. All of those are filled. We had a retirement with the part-time secretary at the fire, so that was a transition, and we've moved somebody into that. And then we had a CDL driver for an existing position we brought on. And then it's just been business as usual with HR projects. Most of December for me is Title VI and Title VII instruction and sending out videos to employees to ensure that we meet state and federal regulations for those deadlines. And we've had a couple of grant opportunities that have come up. So I've been assisting with a couple of those grants. So that's really what my December and all has looked like. I would be remiss to be in personnel and not do a huge shout out to all of our emergency personnel that went out and worked in all of the inclement weather last week and continued to do the amazing jobs that they do. Non-emergency IT, I just want to shout out to them as well, because when things like last week happen, we have the opportunity, some of us do, to work remotely during those opportunities, and we utilize those, and we couldn't do that without our IT folks. So thank you for what you do for the system. Thank you to the highway department, to the EMS department, sheriff's department, fire department. We couldn't do it without y'all. You're amazing. And I like to brag as personnel. And I know you all feel the same way. And I know that there's been several posts. So we always appreciate your support. But we appreciate our personnel and what they do for our organization. So I just wanted to say that. Keep up the good work. And that's all I have, unless you all have questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next, Archives.
I also want to thank all of the maintenance and everyone that took care of all of our buildings, and because the buildings help take care of the records. So that's always a huge and significant piece of preparedness on these weather cold days for sure. Our activities for last December were pretty much the usual. We've had some real interesting projects. We've had 30 visitors and reference questions that were pretty significant, extended reference. We've been helping again with lost cemeteries and concern, and many cemeteries are now looking at getting historic markers with the Tennessee Historical Commission. And while the Historical Commission does not have funding for those markers, these cemetery associations know how to pull together some funding, not only to care for the cemetery, but also to identify it. Our most interesting projects this year, at the end of the year, were helping with a variety of World War II maneuvers projects in the area. If you've not already heard, there's going to be a really significant documentary on PBS about World War II maneuvers, not only from here all the way to Lebanon and all the way down to Alabama. And so we've been helping a little bit with that. We've had some interesting questions about all of the plane crashes in Bedford County from Northern Field during World War II. And everything from in our neighborhood down towards Thompson Creek all the way to the bottom of the Duck River. So there's a lot of neat things going with that. Neat research anyways, and we're glad to help. We're still working always with the permanent records wherever they may be, all across the county, and in the attic of the courthouse, trying to get a handle on them, get them organized for reference, and then help all the county offices. In the last few months and all year, we've been helping tax assessor, trustee, and circuit. And so we continue to do that. We've had our volunteer come back. Our number one volunteer who came back is able to spend several hours with us in December. And, of course, we helped with the DAR meeting in December. They were actually a special meeting in honor of the 250th anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. But they also wanted to do a tour of the courthouse in the meantime. So those are the kind of things we've been doing. We've had a lot of interesting questions just in January. Very unusual questions, I might add, that pull on all our records and legends of our county. How many of you know Simon Warner? Anybody? Everybody? Everybody wants to know about Simon. Not everybody, but several people have requested information about Simon Warner. And Simon Warner was our most well-known fortune teller. And the unfortunate thing about this fortune teller is he did not know his own fortune. He would help other sheriffs all across the Middle Tennessee identify problems that they could not solve, and he was well known for that. And then but the unfortunate thing was that he would tell people's fortunes, and he told a fellow's fortune from down in Alabama. It did not come true. Therefore, the man came up to Cheville and shot Simon Warner and killed him. And so we were able to provide the minutes of the murder in the court minutes and the result of that. Successful cafe here in town for many years. Any questions? Okay. Not working? Oh, sorry. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Architect is next. Don't have nothing, okay. Owner rep, Brother Sweeney. Jeff, you're up.
All right, so everyone should have my report. I didn't know if anyone had any specific questions. It's 3 pages long, so I didn't want to read each and every line item. Items we have completed. The old jail has been completely torn down and removed from site, and that was done at budget. Community walkthrough list is completed and all funds paid. Cartwright is moving ahead of schedule. We expect to have keys turned over to the school on June the 10th, which is 1 month earlier than we anticipated. And I have some very exciting news that we're proud of that Dr. Garrett has allowed me to release, but we are returning $1,036,000 to the county to lower the debt on the school. as of Friday afternoon. And we have made an agreement with Bell Construction to cap their shared savings to them from $420,000 to $275,000. So that will be the most that their shared savings will be. And how that works in the contract that we wrote, we would share whatever was left in the contingency on a percentage basis with Bell's. And we renegotiated that Friday afternoon. It was going to run about 420 to them. Yeah, so we picked up an additional 150,000 plus the design contingency we released last month. So Thomas and Liberty are on schedule. We received the letter from the fire marshal for Thomas last week, which was the date we gave you at last month's finance meeting. We are waiting on a letter from Chief Thomas that we requested earlier in the week from all the snow. He should have that to us tomorrow. That will release Liberty so we can release plans for bid.
Any questions?
Robert, I thought you would at least do one backflip over that.
Already did.
So, we appreciate the school board and Dr. Garrett and the mayor and the finance committee entrusting us with that amount of money for a new school. And we are working diligently to save money. The school board was very adamant. This is the first time the county's done a GMP contract. So it was a little bit of a learning curve. But I think the hundreds of hours we spent during design and value engineering before we released the plans, and we made several changes, have benefited the county from that work.
And that million he's talking about is money that we will not have to borrow. Any more questions? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Next is monthly reports.
So you've got your monthly reports. I don't really have anything unusual to report, but I do want to look at the analysis of property tax collections. It shows versus last year we're $1.2 million less. That depends on when people pay their taxes. So it looks like people didn't pay as much before December this year as they did the prior year. I still anticipate we'll collect what we budgeted. It's just a matter of it's a timing issue. As far as prior year collections, we're down $125,000, and clerk and master collections are down $2,300, and sales tax collections are up $107,000. In March, we'll have another payment on mineral severance tax next month, so you'll see an amount there. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. I know people got to get to the other meetings, so.
Right.
Cut it short.
All right, since there's no questions, EMS?
All right, so as everybody knows, last week was an interesting week for us. That was the trifecta between the temperatures, the ice, and the snow. I'd like to give a shout out to all our employees. We didn't have one single call in all week. We ran 197 calls from Monday through Sunday. That's 75% increase over a normal week. We did have, in 1 week, we did have 2 ambulances stuck that we had to have towed. We had 1 employee injured on the scene of a call. They're back at work. And we did have 1 ambulance wreck, slid on ice, and hit a bridge. Luckily, nobody was hurt in those, but they were incidents that we faced because of the weather. But we're grateful to still be here and still kicking. So that's all I have in addition to the report. And if anybody has any questions on the reports, I'll be glad to answer them.
No questions, thank you.
All right.
All right, quarterly?
These are quarterly financials, have the same information that was in the monthly report, and we do need to have a motion to send these to the commission.
Please. Need a motion to send these to the commission. Any questions? All in favor? All right, that kind of concludes our reports. We need to get a little motion here to approve all of our reports. Second? All in favor? Anybody opposed? All right, is there any other business?
You have a grant.
I can speak on that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Bedford County Transportation Planning Grant.
It's the Bedford County Highway Department is going to put in for another grant like we got last year for the corridor study for the whole northern section plus the east and west section of the northern part of the county, which is basically 50% of the county north. Looking at trying some alternative, it'd be an engineering study of all the roads in those areas about things that can be improved on, widened out, or alternative routes to get traffic when that area does blow up. We're trying to get hopefully we're 5 or 6 years ahead before it gets through when we can have a plan on that kind of stuff. So that's what we're putting it in. There's a maximum amount that they will grant is $200,000, and it's a 10% match, which is $20,000, and the highway department is going to pay that like we did on the last one.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, this needs to be sent to commission also.
Mm-hmm.
Second? You got it? All in favor? All right. What about this one? We do this?
Yes. We have a report from the audit committee that needs to go to the commission. They met today, and we went over the audit and the action plans that were prepared. And the audit was actually on the comptroller's website for anybody to read. I think all the commissioners got a notice of that. So this is just where we address the issues.
Okay, got a motion to second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, now we're down to other business. Any other business? All right, any announcements? Okay. Any other announcements? Made a motion to move out.